Hello and welcome to Dental Studies Simplified. I am Dr. Ankita Kotecha and today's topic is apically repositioned flap. This flap was earlier introduced by Neighbors in the year 1954. He termed this technique as repositioning of gingiva and it was later modified by Araido and Tyrrell in the year 1957. But it was Friedman in the year 1962 who termed this technique differently and also gave the entire technique. So he renamed this technique as apically repositioned flap. He emphasized the fact that it's not just gingiva that is apically repositioned but also the alveolar mucosa. So the entire mucogingival complex comprising of mainly gingiva and the alveolar mucosa both are apically repositioned and hence he renamed this technique, which was earlier called repositioning of gingiva, as apically repositioned flap, and he gave the entire technique. So ultimately this technique is given by Friedman in the year 1962 along with the entire technique. So this technique begins with the incisions, that is mainly an internal bevel incision which is submarginal. Now how far from the crest of the gingival margin depends on the factors as already discussed in my video on horizontal incisions. The three factors: transgingival interdental probing depth, position of the mucogingival junction, and on the palatal aspects, the palatal anatomy. So here we have to consider transgingival interdental probing depth and position of the mucogingival junction. So let's say mucogingival junction is here. Now if we have sufficient attached gingiva and the gingiva is thick, then we can follow the rule according to transgingival interdental probing depth. But if the gingiva is thin or the attached mucosa is less or minimum, then we should give our incision as near to the crest of the gingival margin as possible. That is just a very thin pocket epithelium and connective tissue, so as to preserve the maximum tissue, because that is the aim of this technique. This technique aims at pocket elimination and simultaneously preserving the attached gingiva, preservation of the maximum tissues. That is why with our first incision, that is horizontal scalloped incision, which is submarginal internal bevel, minimum thickness of the gingiva has to be removed. So this is our first incision. Now the second point, please remember this point very thoroughly. Any flap technique which involves repositioning of gingiva will always have vertical incisions. So as the technique suggests, apically repositioned flap. So the next step will be vertical incisions. So our two vertical releasing incisions so as to release both gingiva as well as alveolar mucosa. Please see this anatomy. Both gingiva and alveolar mucosa will be repositioned in the final step, and that is why the name of the technique had been changed from repositioning of gingiva to apically repositioned flap. Clear? So this is our first step, the set of incisions, that is horizontal scalloped submarginal internal bevel incision and the two vertical releasing incision. Once these incisions are given and full thickness flap is reflected, let's say the operative sites now looks like this. The flap is reflected, full thickness flap. This is our bony margins and here are our teeth with the deposits above it. And this collar of the tissue as per the internal bevel incision. So now after the full thickness flap reflection, we can see the bone surface, the root surfaces and the collar of the tissue around the neck of the teeth. So the next step is removal of this tissue. Clear? The tissue that was incised during the first incision, that is horizontal scalloped incision. That collar of the tissue from the neck, from around the neck of the teeth has to be removed. So now after the full thickness flap reflection and removal of the collar of the tissue from around the neck of the teeth, our operative site looks like this, with the flap reflected, the bony margins and the root surfaces with the deposits. So our next step will be hard tissue surface treatment, that is scaling and root planing of the exposed roots and the bone margins are contoured to achieve the ideal anatomic margins and also enable the primary closure, especially in the interproximal sites. So our final site looks like this, with the flaps, the clean root surfaces, and the bone is contoured, although it will be comparatively at an apical level because the bone is contoured. If I show on this picture, if the bone margins are trimmed somewhat this manner, so it is at an apical level relatively. Clear? And now comes the main step, that is repositioning of the flap. So quickly, the incisions, that is internal bevel incision followed by the vertical releasing incision, full thickness flap elevation and removal of the collar of the tissue from around the neck of the teeth, root surface debridement and bone contouring to achieve ideal anatomic contour and clean root surfaces. Now, while placing back the flap ideally will reach somewhere here as per the original length after removal of this tissue. So somewhere here. But if we place our flaps on this position, then there will be scope of soft tissue pockets post-operatively. That is why this entire mucogingival complex, that is gingiva and the alveolar mucosa, will be shifted apically to match the level of the crest of the margin. So our flap is placed here. So our flap is placed apically, that is the entire mucogingival complex is shifted apically so as to eliminate the pockets and also preserve the maximum tissues. So this is how our post-operative site looks like. This completes the technique apically repositioned flap. This flap technique is performed on the facial and buccal aspects, that is maxillary teeth, and facial or buccal aspects and lingual aspects of mandibular teeth. But on the palatal aspects of maxillary teeth, where there is lack of mucogingival junction, lack of the alveolar mucosa, this technique is not possible. So the alternative to this technique on palatal aspects is beveled flap. Please let me know in the comment section below if you are interested in learning the technique beveled flap. As of now, for this video, the technique apically repositioned flap is complete. Now coming to the advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, of course, pocket elimination, preservation of the tissue, and after healing post-operatively, we expect attached gingiva zone. So these are the advantages of this technique. Of course, not to forget the primary closure and hence healing by primary intention and hence less pain and discomfort. But the major drawback, as can be appreciated from the post-operative side, that is the exposure of the roots and associated sensitivity. So this completes the topic apically repositioned flap. The basic idea of this flap is to reposition the entire mucogingival complex, that is gingiva plus alveolar mucosa, apically so as to preserve the maximum tissue of attached gingiva. This completes the topic apically repositioned flap. I hope this technique is clear to you all, but if you still have any doubts or queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section below. Do let me know if you are interested in learning beveled flap technique separately, and I will make a separate video on that technique. Thank you for watching and listening to me. Study well, have a good day, stay safe.